As we first reported yesterday, the Public Service Commission is allowing a crypto mining company to buy a natural gas power plant in North Tonawanda.
Now, this plant runs on fossil fuels and is causing concern among many North Tonawanda residents. Now, one of those is speaking out is Deborah Gondek, who's also a member of North Tonawanda's Climate Smart Task Force. She joins us now live with Chris Murakowski, who is the executive director of the Clean Air Coalition of Western New York. Thank you both for being here this afternoon.
Thank you for your interest.
So, Deborah, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about the work you do with the task force and what your concerns are about all this.
Well, with the task force, it's part of a state-run program to help local municipalities reduce their greenhouse gas emissions and to mitigate the impacts of climate change. And it's a lot of work to do that. So for each step forward we're taking in reducing greenhouse gas emissions, this Bitcoin mining is making us take several steps backwards just because of the intense energy usage.
Now, DigiHost has been operating as a Bitcoin mining company in this building for at least the past couple of months, if not a little bit longer. What they're trying to do is kind of broaden their operations there. Talk a little bit about what the experience has been for some of the neighborhoods surrounding that plant.
They've been testing since February, and they're actually not even inside the building. They have the computers housed in stacked shipping containers outdoors, as well as the fans to cool them. So that's what's generating the extremely high noise levels. So the noise situation is the most apparent problem, and they've had several months to address it, and it's still continues to be a concern. And the increased emissions and other forms of pollution are longer term, impacts. We're just starting to understand what the health impacts of those would be.
So we're talking about the emissions, the air. Chris, let me ask you, just based on what your work through the Clean Air Coalition, what do you think about all this?
Yeah, so as the plant exists, it's a peaker plant, so it's only used when we really need energy. So, intermittently, and that has greenhouse gas emissions by itself. But with the plant transferring to DigiHost to be used for Bitcoin mining, it would be running up to like 24/7, 365 days a year. So that's really like flies in the face of our climate change goals in New York, and we have the nation's leading climate change legislation, so we have some pretty lofty goals. So we think that that's a step backwards if we're using those fuels and creating those emissions just for that limited use.
The company says that they'll be running on natural gas, and then within, I think they said either the next year or maybe the year after, they would transition to renewable natural gas, which obviously is less harmful to the environment. And then they say eventually they'll be running on hydrogen. What do you guys say to that, knowing that the company already has plans in place to begin, or at least try to operate more efficiently and better on the environment?
Yeah, we've asked them those questions. We get very vague, unsubstantiated responses. And as far as we're concerned, if they really want to be the leader in sustainable blockchain technology they claim to be, they could start by eliminating the proof of work, energy-intensive verification process and move to proof of stake. So there's another large cryptocurrency company, Ethereum, who did exactly that just this week. So we think that would be the first step in the right direction.
All right, certainly a lot of information here. Unfortunately, that is all the time we have this afternoon. Deborah, Chris, thank you very much for coming in this afternoon.
Thank you so much.
Well, let's turn now to